You may be seated. Your Excellency, Paul Kagame, President of the Republic of Rwanda, Her Excellency Jeannette Kagame, First Lady of the Republic of Rwanda, Your Excellency Macky Sall, President of the Republic of Senegal, Your Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, Honorable Nia Amor Motley, Prime Minister of Barbados, Your Excellency Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, Your Excellency Moussa Faki Mahamat, Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Honorable Annalena Baerbock, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Federal Republic of Germany, Honorable Dr. Mathume Joseph Fala, Minister representing the President of South Africa, Ambassador Jave Abayeho, Minister representing President of Burundi, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, President of the Africa Development Bank, BioNTech leadership, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very warm welcome to the inaugural ceremony of the BioNTech site. This is an event dedicated to the paramount cause of working together to promote vaccine equity for Africa. My name is Naringwa Fiona Mothoni, and I'm delighted to be your host for this afternoon. Today marks a very significant milestone, dedication, and a symbol of innovation in the relentless pursuit of advancing healthcare solutions, not only in Rwanda, but across the continent. Your Excellencies, during this morning's discussions, not only did they shed light on some of the challenges faced here within the African continent, but a pathway was provided to achieving a more equitable distribution of vaccines, fostering hope and resilience among communities. To get us started, kindly turn your attention to the screen for an exclusive look behind the scenes in the making of this incredible BioNTech site.
The interesting thing was really when we started this project, it was quite science fiction-y, right?
The idea in the early stages of the pandemic, so in March 2020, so when the pandemic really just started with the lockdowns and so on, we knew if we had a vaccine, which we were developing, but we were not quite sure, we knew thinking from the end, we need billions of doses to be produced. And then we were thinking, how do we do this? And we have to have a concept to scale it up. And we were thinking modular, we were thinking containers, and then a colleague actually took a pen and drew the first sketch of like, this is how it could look like.
The biocontainer is an assembly of containers that contain both the clean rooms and the equipment that's needed to manufacture end-to-end, essentially.
The biocontainer addresses a number of problems. First of all, making manufacturing available where it is needed. Yeah? And the second is making it available as quickly as possible. That means when the vaccine is approved and the rollout happens. The technical aspect is if we want to address manufacturing, we want, of course, to have the same quality everywhere. Yeah? So that means regardless whether a vaccine is produced in Europe or in the US or in Africa, it should be the same quality, it should be the same process, it should be the same material. Yeah? So what the BioNTech solution should accomplish is fast manufacturing and manufacturing the same quality as anywhere else.
The concept of a biocontainer is you need 6 40-foot sea containers, so 3 on the bottom, 3 on the top. On the top you have like HVAC systems and IT and so on, and then the bottom you have the clean room. Basically it's 6, 1 biocontainer. And you need 1 biocontainer for drug substance production and 1 biocontainer for the formulation. So the first milestone that was really moving is when I first saw one in our BioNTech incubation center in Marburg. So it looked very great, very nice, with like a space-wide, like a space station, and it was surrounded by all the people that were looking at it. It was a fantastic view.
This is the big facility, so this is where we actually house the first prototypes of the bioantennas. We as a team are working collectively to try and get the whole facility up and running, to be able to use it as a blueprint for other facilities that will set up around the world in future. The first one being the one in Rwanda, of course. It's all part of our mission here at BioNTech to improve access to medicines to people globally and all communities around the world.
One advantage of the bioantennas is you can deploy them fairly quickly because you can produce all of this high tech at home. So I'm saying then you can put it on any mobile vehicle, be it a ship, be it a plane, be it a train or something, a truck. The second milestone was when we transported to Rwanda. And the plane came in, it's like a really big bird that landed on the runway in Kigali, turned around and then opened the hatch, and out came 6 containers, i.e. one big bioantenna.
When I came in May, the bioantennas had arrived in March. And going to the warehouse and seeing this bioantenna that people had told me about before I joined BioNTech, it was a surreal moment that this is really happening.
The second milestone is actually the arrival of the bioantennas in March this year, where we could actually even sense more of now having the bioantenna babies. That's how we all call them here.
For Africa again.
So the bioantenna concept is not only like the hardware or the clean room, it's also the automation concept. It's a design concept, and it's also the documentation around that. And very important, it's also the training of the people that work inside the bioantenna.
So with BioNTech establishing its manufacturing site,
BioNTech yaduhaye amahugurwa ya GMP, ni ukuvuga ngo ni ukumenya ibikorerwa mu ruganda. Nkanjye wari ukoze muri pharmaceutical industry bwa mbere, nzi uko mRNA zakorwa, ni amahirwe menshi kubimenya, atari ukuvuga ngo ninjye uzabikora ariko nzi uburyo bizakorwa.
During the pandemic, we have basically learned 2 things. One thing is that our technology is very valuable, but for all citizens of this world.
There's a specific moment that highlighted to me why BioNTech is different, and that's its in culture. We were in a meeting, a discussion, and one of the senior managers pointed out that
to do the capacity building for this country and the continent, be it the products that we will manufacture in the plants, or the collaborations, the possible collaborations that are bound to happen, because manufacturing, you can't do it alone.
There are many unknowns. There are, however, 2 things I definitely know, namely that the vision of equitable access, and the second thing is that it requires collaboration which is based on relational interactions, and I'm very confident that we will find the right partners here.
It is important that we consider this milestone, the opening as our site, as one aspect of the overall project. What we want to accomplish here is to create something sustainable, and we feel the global responsibility.
One word to describe this: incredible. 1 year's work shortened down into just a few minutes, and it shows us the fusion of teamwork, technology, and the relentless pursuit of excellence that defines BioNTech's quest for advancing healthcare solutions. To deliver the opening remarks, I would now like to invite Professor Shaheen, scientist, a trained physician, co-founder, and the CEO of BioNTech.
modular high-tech manufacturing units that enable use of identical processes across the whole network, regardless whether the BioNTech is located in Europe, in Australia, or in Africa. It means Africa will have one of the most advanced manufacturing facilities in the world. These BioNTechs will be able to manufacture any kind of mRNA vaccines. Their versatility allows making prophylactic infectious disease vaccines as well as therapeutic cancer vaccines. They can produce more than 50 million doses annually for regular public supply or during a pandemic. Or they can be used to produce 10,000 of mRNA doses for clinical trials. So, we are not yet there. There's a lot of work ahead of us, and we have a plan. In 2024, we plan to complete the construction here of all buildings on the site and initiate commissioning and the qualification process. We will work on regulatory processes, quality control, and most importantly, on the training of local personnel. We invest in building local capabilities and training of talents and young scientists, not only in manufacturing and digital sciences, but also in AI. We want to ensure that Africa benefits further from the coming wave of AI, including that algorithms are trained on locally relevant data sets and samples. Our goal is to ensure that these facilities operate according to global standards. In 2025, we expect to manufacture test batches for regulatory approval, which could become the first commercial batches of mRNA-based vaccines manufactured and delivered in Africa. A few words about research and development. The BioNTech is one part of our contribution to an mRNA vaccine ecosystem. The other part is development of life-saving new medicines that are specifically tailored to the regional needs. BioNTech is actively engaged in the research and development of new vaccines and treatments against complex pathogens such as malaria, tuberculosis, HIV, and mpox. These pathogens account for a significant burden of disease and mortality in many parts of this continent. Our vaccines against tuberculosis, malaria, and mpox are already in clinical trials, and first clinical trials in Africa are underway. We believe that our mRNA vaccine for mpox has significant potential to directly impact the current mpox outbreak in Africa, providing the chance for a timely response to this pressing health concern. How to develop these vaccines? We need local clinical trials. The development of these vaccines can only happen if we work in close partnership with local communities, researchers, and affected countries. High-quality clinical trials in multiple sites in Africa will be critical to define the safety and efficacy of these new vaccines. We highly welcome new vaccine research proposals by our African collaborators. To that end, we are delighted to be partnering with Senegal and Institut Pasteur Dakar on a new research partnership to make mRNA vaccines for these diseases of local relevance. And in working closely with all of you and the researchers and academic institutions, we want to contribute to the training of the next generation scientists here in Africa. It's clear to us that these potential future vaccines, among other life-saving medicines, need to be produced in Africa at the proper scale and at an affordable cost. We are often asked whether our initiative in Rwanda is only limited to Rwanda. Our answer is no. This initiative we embarked upon in Rwanda serves as a pioneering move in establishing local mRNA vaccine production capability on the African ecosystem. It is a collaborative effort with every partner sharing a deep sense of commitment to ensure a sustainable success. It can serve as a model for any other partnership in Africa and elsewhere. Upon success, we are committed to establish additional manufacturing facilities in accordance with the need of the continent and the countries. These facilities would likely be based also on biocontainers. They can be smaller for clinical development of vaccines, or they can be bigger compared to the one here in Kigali to provide additional commercial capacity on the continent. Thus, ensuring the success of the Rwandan facility will pave the way for fostering the African vaccine ecosystem in a holistic fashion, increasing health equity across Africa and beyond. The establishment of the mRNA manufacturing in Africa is a critical milestone, but its sustainability depends on collaborative approach across multiple sectors and multiple stakeholders. Much alike a single stream that begins at top of a hill, our journey will gain strength and momentum as it merges with others, each contributing to a stronger and more powerful current. Rwanda is often referred as the land of 1,000 hills. It offers a unique opportunity to amplify this momentum by uniting diverse efforts and resources. However, to truly establish a resilient and enduring presence, we must work together to build the whole vaccine ecosystem. What are the elements? We might have blind spots, but what we see is we need to be able to conduct clinical trials. We need to navigate regulation and approval. We need to ensure robust supply chains. We need to ensure effective public information, and we need to implement effective pharmacovigilance measures. Thus, your support is truly indispensable in a journey towards a healthier future in Africa. Let us reaffirm our vision, a healthier future for Africa, powered by advancements in science and vaccine technology, rooted in the principle of equitable access. Together with your continued support and collaboration, we can turn this vision into reality. Thank you once again for your partnership in this transformative journey.
Thank you so much, Professor Ushain, for your very insightful remarks and for also giving us a glimpse into the BioNTech. I now would like to invite Her Excellency Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, onto the stage to deliver her remarks.
Dear President Kagame, dear Paul, President Sall, dear Maki, President Akufo-Addo, dear Nana, Prime Minister Motley, dear Mia, Chairperson Faki, dear Musa, Minister Baerbock, liebe Annalena, Minister Fahler, lieber Ur Shahin, liebe Özlem Türeci, distinguished guests. The great African writer Chinua Achebe called it the power of togetherness. This cutting-edge facility would not have been possible without the shared experience and expertise that we each bring to the table. It is a story of teamwork between pioneering scientists and innovative businesses, between Africa and Europe, and between government, finance, and regulation. The story started decades ago. Back in the 1990s, two scientists began working on the new kind of technology. mRNA technology was so innovative that they had a difficult time finding money for their research. Now, fast forward 2 decades, Katalin Karikó and Drew Weissman win the Nobel Prize in Medicine 2023. Their discoveries on mRNA helped save millions of lives around the world. And this is also thanks to Uğur Şahin and Özlem Türeci, these two brilliant entrepreneurs and scientists founded BioNTech. Their company developed a vaccine against COVID-19 that was more than 90% effective. This was the big story during the pandemic. But that's not all. mRNA vaccines were produced in record time, faster than any other vaccine in history. However, ramping up global production capacities remained a huge challenge. Billions of people around the globe needed their doses, but only few plants were able to deliver. And I remember, dear President Kagame, our conversation in Paris, 2021. It was at the height of the pandemic. We agreed that Rwanda and Europe must work together, not only to bring vaccines to Africa, but to bring vaccine production and mRNA technology to Africa. So we got together with world-leading companies like BioNTech, Uğur Şahin and Özlem Türeci. Your scientific excellence, your entrepreneurial spirit, and your social engagement put BioNTech in a starring role of this joint endeavor. We teamed up with Rwanda, with Senegal, with South Africa, and with Ghana. And we built, and we are building, the first vaccine manufacturing capacity, mRNA producing capacity on the continent here in Kigali. To date, we have together already mobilized 1.2 billion euros as Team Europe. And it is amazing to think that in just 2 years, these BioNTainers will be producing up to 50 million doses of vaccines per year. And we're not only speaking about battling the coronavirus, but it is about breaking new ground in the fight against, as you said, Uğur, tuberculosis, malaria, and potentially even cancer. This is the true power of togetherness and technology. And this is also the winning formula behind Global Gateway, Europe's global investment program, efforts to strengthen the capacities of the Food and Drugs Authority, and the joined us here today. Many thanks for that. What's happening here in Rwanda can also happen in Barbados. And with the South-South cooperation, we're very keen to support this potential vaccine project in Barbados. We can be proud of how much we have achieved together, and of course of how much we can still achieve. This is why today we will sign an agreement of an additional 40 million euros to support Rwanda in its mission to become a center of medical and technological excellence, and to support the African Union, dear Musa, to succeed in the goal that you've set yourself. I've never forgotten that you told me that today Africa is producing 1% of the vaccines that are used in Africa, and that the common goal is that by 2040, you're producing 60% of the vaccines needed on the continent. So I think we're getting much closer to that goal, which is a real good one, and we should join forces to achieve it. I will leave the final words to Chinua Achebe. Let's smile, not because we don't have problems, but because we are stronger than the problems. Thank you so much.
Powerful words. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for taking us through the journey of how it all started and how we got here today, and also for showing us the power of collaboration. To deliver his remarks, we are delighted to welcome His Excellency Paul Kagame, President of the Republic of Rwanda, to the stage.
We are certainly stronger than the problems. Excellencies, heads of state and government, Excellency Macky Sall, President of the Republic of Senegal, Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, Honorable Mia Mottley, Prime Minister of Barbados, my sister, Excellency Ursula von Leyen, President of the European Commission, Excellency Moussa Faki Mahamat, Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Professor Ugur Sahin, Professor Oslem Turesh, founders of BioNTech, heads of state, ministers, Annalena Baerbock, representing the Chancellor of Germany, Minister Joe Fahler, representing the President of South Africa, Minister Gervais Abayeho, representing the President of Burundi, Dr. Adesina, President of the African Development Bank, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to welcome you, particularly the heads of state and government who have joined us and the leaders of international institutions. Secondly, I want to thank you, beginning with BioNTech, especially Professor Ugur, Professor Oslem. We are very proud of the entire team from BioNTech who have worked tirelessly to deliver this project. This facility is designed to be among the most advanced in the world. Most of the staff are from Africa, including the site manager, an engineer from Nigeria. The quality is exactly the same as you would find anywhere else. Vaccine inequity hit Africa hard during the pandemic. We found ourselves knocking on every door in search of doses. The situation was intolerable. And the African Union came together to make a firm commitment that we would not allow ourselves to be in that position ever again. That is how Rwanda, Senegal, South Africa, Ghana came to be pilot countries for vaccine manufacturing. Others have also joined, and we have all made solid progress working together. Africa CDC has coordinated the partnership for Africa vaccine manufacturing led by Dr. Jean Kasser. The African Medicines Agency was created with its future headquarters here in Kigali. I commend the chairperson, Musa Faki, for his steadfast support and being a force behind all these efforts, as well as the African Union Special Envoys, who helped steer us through very uncertain times. You may remember that the consensus at first was that mRNA vaccines could not even be administered in Africa. It was said to be too complicated for our health systems. Then, when we embarked on this journey to manufacture these vaccines on our continent, we were told that it would take a minimum of 30 years. That was all wrong. It is possible. And because it is possible, it is also necessary. What BioNTech's partnership with Africa demonstrates is that vaccine technology can be democratized. But you could not have reached this point without a wider set of partnerships. The world mobilized quickly and effectively to support the African initiatives. President Ursula von der Leyen, I want to personally thank you for your personal involvement, but working together with other partners in the European Union, you became instrumental in initiating the collaboration with BioNTech. And the European Commission has provided crucial support to Rwanda to build our regulatory capacity, support skills and training, and fund research, as did the European Investment Bank. Many individual partner countries stepped up as well, but today allow me to single out Germany, which immediately put in place an extensive cooperation program. The World Health Organization has supported Rwanda's regulator to work toward ML3 status in record time. The African Development Bank took the lead in establishing the African Pharmaceutical Technology Foundation, which will also be based here in Kigali. We thank the African Development Bank. And the International Finance Corporation has been with us from the beginning, helping Rwanda to map out the long-term vision for our pharmaceutical ecosystem. I am pleased to announce that Rwanda is moving into a new phase of collaboration with IFC to ensure that BioNTech's investment is just the first of many. If time permitted, I would highlight many other contributions, such as those of Gavi, CEPI, and the Global Fund. The reason I wanted to mention all this is because the real success factor in today's milestone is trust and cooperation. And we need more of that if we want to ensure that Africa is ready and resilient no matter what happens in the future. The presence here of our sister Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados signals that the concern for health equity extends beyond our continent. Rwanda and Barbados have been advising and supporting each other closely on pharma manufacturing. We would like to see much deeper cooperation between Africa and the Caribbean, especially with respect to pooled procurement to make our industries sustainable. Adversity is often the starting point of great success. In the end, we all have something to offer each other. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, once again, I welcome you and thank you all for sharing this day with us. Have a good day.
Thank you so much for your remarks. As it has been highlighted, promoting vaccine equity for Africa is paramount. And the launch of this site in particular is a significant milestone. But all this could not be achieved without visionary leadership. We're now going to be taken through a presentation on why Africa deserves this day. I'm going to welcome to the stage Professor Rose Leke, Professor of Immunology and Parasitology at the University of Yaoundé in Cameroon, and 2023 Visco Prize for Global Health Laureate.
Yes, a great day for Africa. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Rwanda, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Senegal, Your Excellency, the Prime Minister of Barbados, Your Excellency, the President of the European Commission, Your Excellency, the Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Your Excellency, the President of the African Development Bank, Your Excellency, the Foreign Minister of the Federal Republic of Germany, Your Excellency, the Minister of Health of South Africa, the co-founder and CEO of BioNTech and team, all other dignitaries here present, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. It's such a pleasure for me to be part of this here today. I first of all want to thank the organizers for inviting me to share my reflections on this great day for Africa. When we launched the manufacturing of mRNA vaccines in Kigali, in a dream come true for many of us. This is a new era for Africa. So let us all join together to welcome it with lots of cheers. Let me hear you welcome this era for Africa. Some 300 years ago in 1721, about then, Onesimus, some of you must have heard about him, an African-born slave in Boston, introduced an age-old practice that became known as variolation. That saved Boston's population from a 17% to 2.4% fatality rate of the smallpox that infected the population. This became known as vaccination when, in 1796, Edward Jenner in England observed that milkmaids were protected from smallpox because some of the cows had cowpox, a similar disease. So in 1980, the World Health Organization declared that smallpox had been completely eradicated due to global vaccination efforts. making the disease the first and only infectious disease to have been entirely wiped out. The indigenous wild poliovirus has also been wiped out from 5 of the WHO regions, including Africa in 2020, again due to global vaccine. We observed how such an agenda for Africa. Fast forward to April 2021, when I was invited, and I did attend the virtual summit organized by Africa CDC to develop a roadmap for African vaccine manufacturing. There were 4 heads of state in attendance, as recounted by the then Africa CDC Director, Dr. John Kingasong. I was remarkably impressed with the high-level attendance of experts in global vaccine manufacturing, encouraging the transfer of technology to our continent. And as a research scientist, I had lived through the notion of vaccines going from irradiated sporozoids like candidates for malaria, attenuated viruses like for polio, recombinant proteins, and in those days, not once did we ponder the concept of molecular vaccines. The outcome of the virtual summit was the launch of the Partnership for African Vaccine Manufacturing, PAVM, and the agreement that by 2040, Africa would manufacture at least 60% of its vaccines. I wondered how realistic this was, but felt really pleased about the aspiration and was looking forward towards starting to make progress. Mind you, there's been some vaccine production on the continent, such as yellow fever vaccine in Senegal, and animal vaccines in Nigeria, Ethiopia, and my own country, Cameroon, and others. But a lot more needed to be done. Imagine then my absolute feeling of joy that just 2.5 years after this summit, we would rise up so quickly to the highest technology of manufacturing mRNA vaccines on the continent. This is big. Yes, it is big. So let me first seize this opportunity to thank BioNTech, the government of Rwanda, Africa CDC, and all other partners who have contributed to this incredible outcome. Please join me in giving them a healthy round of applause. Africa's heavy dependence on international manufacturers for medicines, vaccines, and other medical supplies has rendered it challenging for governments to respond to health crises effectively and rapidly. This is in spite of the 2001 Abuja Declaration, where it was agreed to mobilize more public resources and budget to the health sector. But by 2018, only 2 countries had met the health budget target from this declaration. In addition, COVID-19 showed us that tremendous innovation is possible in extremely short time frames. But it has also shown us the disastrous inequities that can result from a research and development and manufacturing agenda that is overweighted to the global north. We all remember how difficult it was for us to procure test kits, PPEs, and vaccines during the crisis. While Africa's pharmaceutical sector is primed for rapid growth, the continent produces only 3% of global medicines and imports over 75% of its pharmaceutical needs. This gap materially undermines Africa's global health security. And shockingly, less than 1% of vaccines administered in Africa are produced on the continent, leaving millions without timely and affordable access to life-saving immunization. And despite this sobering reality, the world continues to observe a continent battling multiple health crises, where local production of vaccines remains a dream for many. The COVID-19 pandemic sent a shocking wave to African leaders, scientists, policymakers, and more importantly, Africa's burgeoning population, which caused them to demand urgent attention to establish self-sustaining vaccine manufacturing. This demand propelled many African institutions, including the African Union, Africa CDC, countries like Rwanda, Ghana, Senegal, South Africa, and other research institutions to take bold steps to offset Africa's heavy reliance on imported vaccines, which currently appears to be a major factor perpetuating unequal access and economic strain on African healthcare systems, paying billions of dollars to get life-saving vaccines, as well as the necessary materials to store, transport, and administer the vaccines. Efforts from these varied institutions and countries are admirable, as they showcase Africa's tremendous potential and drive to self-determination, steering local research and development towards addressing the continent's most pressing specific health needs. This investment in mRNA vaccine manufacturing is laudable, not only by its financial scale, but also the many opportunities it opens up for Rwanda and the continent at large. Extensions can be considered to developing routine vaccines, as well as the ability to repurpose the facility to respond to production of new vaccines in the wake of any future pandemics. This facility also serves as a springboard to the development of value-accretive partnerships that can combine the expertise and resources of local and international stakeholders to accelerate research and development. Finally, I hope that this successful launch serves as a motivation for other countries to take the mantle in developing their vaccine manufacturing value chain. The Africa CD's Partnerships for African Vaccine Manufacturing PAVM program aims to establish 5 vaccine research and manufacturing hubs across the continent over the next 10 to 15 years. Since the launch of PAVM, several countries have made remarkable progress in financing vaccine production and scaling up vaccine manufacturing capacity. Coupled with the African Union's African Medicine Agency, MA, we can look forward to an Africa where regulation for pharmaceuticals is harmonized in order to build a diverse and distributed health R&D and manufacturing ecosystem across the continent. And when we combine this with the African Vaccine Manufacturing Acceleration AVMA program that the Gavi board approved 10 days ago, I truly believe that the future of vaccine manufacturing in Africa is bright, and long may these initiatives last. Now, what does this mean for Africa? Africa has a population of 1.2 billion today, and we are most susceptible to infectious diseases. And as a result, the continent is a significant market for vaccines. It is estimated that by 2060, the African population would increase by further 65%. Our needs are growing, and there is now a strong political will to develop better healthcare outcomes for our population, not only in a few countries, but all across the continent, as represented here today. It is also important to note that Africa's reliance on imported vaccines leaves it susceptible to supply chain disruptions. And we did learn from COVAX that nationalism does occur in times of pandemics. Such diversified manufacturing in Africa would enhance pandemic preparedness and response. That's why now is the time. Furthermore, the economic and social impact upon the establishment of local vaccine production is not solely about healthcare, but also a catalyst for job creation, economic prosperity, innovation hubs, and social well-being across the continent. Africa boasts of abundant resources and a burgeoning workforce who need to remain healthy in order to deliver utmost productivity for our countries. And I am pleased to see the progress that the continent has made in recent years, enabled certainly by many of the leaders that are present here today. And what does it mean for our young research scientists? One of my students, who's now a researcher, Livo Esemo, said to me ahead of this remarkable launch here in Kigali, and I quote, "I can now stay on the continent and do good science." What a powerful symbol this facility is to young scientists all over Africa. I have, during my career, trained and mentored hundreds of our young research scientists. They are smart, intelligent, hardworking, and daring, but they lack the resources to achieve their ambitious research and innovation goals. And as a result, I've seen many of them leave the continent, and I'm glad to say succeed at a global stage. However, such a facility will be yet another reason for them to stay or to return to those who have left and contribute their intellect and talents to developing the healthcare ecosystem on the continent. The use of modern technology like what we're seeing here today can even be expanded to other areas of research and can be leveraged to create and fuel the virtuous cycle of innovation. And what it means to me as a research scientist, a global health advocate, a mother, and a grandmother. I must say that to see this day is more than fulfilling and heartwarming for me. It is a major milestone in research and development in Africa, acquiring the mRNA production technology, the most modern and up-to-date technology. I cannot end without talking about what this means for women, those who take care of the home and are primarily responsible for the upbringing and health of their children. When the word gets around that vaccine production is taking place on the continent, imagine the confidence it will bring to mothers and the population at large who have been so confused with misinformation and disinformation about vaccines imported from Western countries. There is a need to educate women more, maybe not needed as much in Rwanda, but certainly in many other parts of the continent. And by showcasing that these vaccines are manufactured and developed locally, we can significantly reduce vaccine hesitancy across Africa and ensure that many more of our children and grandchildren are vaccinated. And finally, let me take this opportunity to make a plea to this audience today, a plea that has been boiling inside me all through my career as a research scientist. Most of our scientific research on the continent has been carried out on external funding, donor funding. My plea is for governments in Africa to prioritize research and development and innovation in their budgetary allocations and invest in this. Science and technology have moved the world forward right to artificial intelligence today. And it's the outcome of research done outside our continent that has brought us here today. So please invest in research and give a chance to our young African scientists to showcase their capabilities and move our continent forward. This is my plea to all you leaders that are present here today. Now, to close, as a global health advocate and research scientist, I must emphasize that collaborative effort, true and respectful partnerships, innovative thinking, and directed advocacy has brought us to this far in the global health arena. These tenets will continue to be key for health promotion. Africa requires building win-win partnerships, leveraging resources to fund research and production. And the successful launch of this vaccine facility is testimony to that. So congratulations again to all this remarkable achievement for Rwanda and for Africa. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Leke, for taking us through this detailed presentation. Indeed, bold steps are needed for us to be able to bridge the current gaps that we have. And in pursuit of vaccine equity for Africa, it has been mentioned that collaboration is key. It involves all stakeholders coming together, aligning their efforts, and pooling resources to ensure that no one is left behind. With us here today, we are delighted to have special guests from different parts of the world who've joined us to share this special moment. To deliver his remarks, I would like to welcome His Excellency Macky Sall, President of the Republic of Senegal, to come to the stage.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Mr. President Paul Kagame, my dear brother, Madam the First Lady, Janet Kagame, Excellency President Nana Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, Excellency the Prime Minister Myanmar Madele, my dear sister, Your Excellency Madam Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Union Commission, Your Excellency Mr. Moussa Faki Mahamat, President of the African Union Commission, Dr. Adesina, President of the African Development Bank Group, Professor Ogur Sahin, Musra Torresi, BioNTech, Dr. Senet Kurshaw, representing Buffett Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, dear Paul, for your invitation and the always warm welcome extended to us here in Kigali. This ceremony is one of the best answers that Africa is giving to the present and to the future after the pandemic of the COVID-19. And this is a historic day for the continent. I salute your leadership, and I salute a brilliant partnership that was built after, following the outbreak of the COVID, which I will come back to before the end of my remarks, and what the African Union has done. 4 years ago, the virus at the origin of this horrible disease created general panic, and it plunged the world into this high-speed chase to pharmaceutical products. And worse had been predicted for Africa. 4 years later, the continent is still here, standing and resilient. Better still, And thanks to the partnership with our friends, we are more ready for other challenges. My congratulations to President Kagame, to you, and to the BioNTech partners and other financial partners, and I'll be coming back to that later. And I'll reiterate that the production
était parmi les points majeurs de notre ordre du jour lors du 6e sommet Union européenne-Union africaine de février 2022. Je salue également les progrès réalisés depuis lors par le Global Gateway Initiative, sur lequel nous avons fait il y a quelques mois à Bruxelles la revue pour voir les progrès depuis lors. Ce qui se fait ici à Kigali et dans les autres pays africains pionniers montre qu'avec la vision et la volonté politique, l'Afrique est capable de réaliser le meilleur, y compris dans les technologies les plus avancées et les plus exigeantes. Avec la même vision et la même volonté politique, nous devons travailler ensemble pour que les vaccins et autres produits biotechnologiques fabriqués en Afrique, suivant les mêmes standards, le professeur Chahine l'a rappelé, que ceux produits ailleurs, il est donc impérieux que ces vaccins fabriqués sur le continent accèdent aux plateformes de vente et de distribution. Je voudrais faire un appel à l'Union européenne en particulier, qui a été initiatrice de COVAX, pour qu'elle, ainsi que Gavi et tous les autres partenaires et ONG puissent, au-delà de la production, accompagner dans les plateformes de commercialisation. C'est dans cet esprit que le Sénégal poursuit ses efforts pour la souveraineté vaccinale. Ainsi, l'Institut Pasteur de Dakar, qui fête cette année ses 127 ans, c'est un vieil institut, un vieil homme, et qui produit les vaccins contre la fièvre jaune depuis 86 ans, est en train de finaliser dans la nouvelle ville de Diamniadio un vaccinopole multidimensionnel. Cette plateforme qui s'inscrit dans le cadre du plan Sénégal émergent et de l'agenda 2063 de l'Union africaine comprend notamment une chaîne complète de production, y compris de vaccins à ARN messager, de remplissage aseptique, de conditionnement et de stockage, mais également un centre de métier de la bioproduction dédié au renforcement des compétences des ressources humaines dont la vocation est aussi d'attirer les jeunes vers les filières de la biotechnologie qui constituent un important réservoir d'emplois et d'opportunités. Enfin, nous mettrons en place, et c'est déjà presque achevé, un centre de recherche sur le vaccin, de la mise au point jusqu'à la production. L'Institut Pasteur de Dakar lancera également en janvier un centre africain de résilience aux épidémies pour accueillir des praticiens, chercheurs et décideurs afin de contribuer à une meilleure préparation du continent aux crises sanitaires futures. Je remercie les partenaires techniques et financiers. Ce jour doit également être un jour de gratitude et de remerciement pour avancer encore plus de l'avant. Qui accompagne le Sénégal dans ce programme à travers l'appui à l'IPD, Institut Pasteur de Dakar. Il s'agit notamment de l'OMS, l'Organisation mondiale de la santé, Africa CDC, le groupe Universal de Belgique, l'Union européenne, la Banque européenne d'investissement, j'allais dire la Team Europe pour faire global, l'Allemagne, je salue la représentante, à travers la KfW, la France avec l'AFD, la Banque africaine de développement, M. Hakim, la Banque islamique de développement, les chaînes d'approvisionnement et les universités et centres de recherche africains pour conforter, malgré les temps difficiles. Ensemble et solidairement, faisons de ces lueurs une flamme incandescente pour illuminer notre marche vers la souveraineté médicale et pharmaceutique africaine. Je vous remercie de votre attention.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your remarks. We're now going to hear from His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana.
His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, and Her Excellency, the First Lady, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Senegal, the Honorable Prime Minister of the Government of the Republic of Barbados, the President of the European Commission, the Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Foreign Affairs Minister of the Federal Republic of Germany, the Minister for Health of the Republic of Germany, the Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs of Ghana, and members of the Ghanaian delegation, President of the African Development Bank, co-founders of BioNTech, the World Health Organization's Regional Director for Africa, Director General of the Africa Center for Disease Control, fellow Africans, ladies and gentlemen. I'm grateful to my senior and good friend, the redoubtable President of the Republic of Rwanda, His Excellency Paul Kagame, for the invitation to witness this happy occasion, the inauguration of the BioNTech manufacturing site in Kigali. Today is a reaffirmation of our commitment to the rest of the world that the construction of an end-to-end vaccine manufacturing facility involving Rwanda, Senegal, and my own country of Ghana is truly underway. When we met in Marburg in Germany in June 2022, there were some who secretly doubted our collective resolve to bring this all-important project, which will boost Africa's capacity to be self-reliant in the production of vaccines, to fruition. I'm happy we have with today's event been able to confound these doubting Thomases. Ladies and gentlemen, the import of this Pan-African Vaccine Manufacturing Initiative project is that we have had to work together, evidenced by the deepening of the ties of friendship between the Food and Drugs Authorities of Ghana and Rwanda. Through this, FDA Ghana, which achieved WHO Global Benchmarking Maturity Level 3 in 2021 and Maturity Level 4 in Pharmacovigilance and Drug Laboratory also was made a regional center of regulatory oversight by the African Union in August 2023. FDA Ghana will soon attain global benchmarking maturity level 4 and is assisting FDA Rwanda in its quest to attain WHO maturity level 3. Again, collaboration between our two countries resulted recently in a team from Rwanda visiting research institutions in Ghana with the aim of strengthening institutional development and partnership towards vaccine discovery and advancement. For us in Ghana, the Pan-African Vaccine Manufacturing Initiative project fits perfectly with our roadmap for domestic vaccine development and manufacturing. Ghana is playing her role to this end, and I assure you once again of our determination to make the project work successfully. Ghana's research institutions are undergoing capacity building to be ready for the discovery and development of vaccines and other biologicals. And a consortium of Ghanaian pharmaceutical companies, led by Dex Vaccines Limited, is working closely with BioNTech Rwanda, BioNTech Germany, and Kenap to fill, finish, and package the drug product in Ghana from the plant here in Rwanda. In October this year, at the Global Gateway Forum in Brussels, Ghana received some 32 million euros from the European Union to help realize our goal of being a hub for vaccine manufacturing. I express great appreciation to the European Union, the African Union, BioNTech of Germany, Kenap Foundation of Malta, the International Finance Corporation, closely together with African countries to enable the continent achieve vaccine self-sufficiency. And I assure all and sundry that Ghana is delighted to be part of this Pan-African project to manufacture mRNA, COVID, malaria, and TB vaccines from drug substance through drug product to fill, finish, and package. May God bless Mother Africa and us all. And I thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your remarks. I am now delighted to invite to the stage Honorable Mia Amor Motley, Prime Minister of Barbados, to come and deliver her remarks.
Thank you very much, my dear brother, Your Excellency, President Kagame, and First Lady of Rwanda, Mrs. Kagame, President Macky Sall, my other dear brother from Senegal, and President Nana Akufo-Addo, my elder brother, who has guided me in my travails in Africa, my sister, President Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, my brother, President Macky Sall, ministers of Germany, South Africa, and my own country, Barbados, and of course the founders of BioNTech, without whom we would not have reason or cause to be here today. Professor Senet Fesa, who is the moving rock behind the Susan Buffett Foundation, distinguished guests all. 60 years ago, on the 4th of October, His Excellency Emperor Haile Selassie, in addressing the United Nations General Assembly, delivered himself of remarks that have come to be popularized by Robert Nesta Marley. And he asked us to recall that until there are no longer first-class or second-class citizens of the world, until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes, until basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regard to race. I wouldn't bother to use his echo that there will be war, because there is too much war today in our world. But what I will say is that until such time, there will be a fleeting illusion for us, as he said, to be able to achieve the dream of lasting peace or world citizenship or the rule of international morality. We stand here today as a living example of the concrete steps that are being taken to remove the deficit that has existed between citizens who have been unable to access medicines that are available but not affordable, medicines that are there but not accessible. And today marks a concrete step for the people of Africa and its children and its diaspora to be able to turn the corner, not just in the fight against pandemics, which we have all learned is absolutely critical, but equally, simply, in our desire to ensure that our people can have access to the best possible therapeutics and biologics that are available on this planet. And I want to thank President Kagame in particular, because when you came to Barbados at the beginning of 2022, we started talks that really were built upon the Africa Medical Supplies platform that was made available to the members of the Caribbean community in the height of the pandemic. And why? Our orders were simply too small to matter. Our capacity to be able to access from ventilators right back through to therapeutics to basic PPE simply was not there. And very often, even when we paid, orders were withdrawn at the very last minute. I pray that no future Prime Minister or President should have to endure what we endured during the course of the pandemic. And I'd like to thank all, because 1 year ago in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt, we were able to reach the point of setting ourselves on this journey, so that just as Africa develops its capacity, we in the Latin America and Caribbean region should equally be seeking to develop our own capacity, and to ensure that as we work together, we work in a complementary fashion, so that together we can address the shortages that exist for the people of the South. This is going to require cooperation in financing, and that is why we thank the European Union and the Global Gateway for stepping up to the plate. It is going to require a transfer of technology, and that is why we thank the owners of BioNTech and all others who will come to the table in the future, recognizing that, as Chancellor Scholz has said, the days of simply the extractive industries being the hallmark of the Global South must be put behind us, and the question of value added and transfer of technology for a just transition becomes completely critical if we are to see the world turn the corner with respect to the inequity that we have inherited. And of course, the global financing for the global public goods that are going to be necessary, particularly in those drugs that are needed to fight antimicrobial resistance. I co-chair the One Health Global Initiative, and we already know that it is responsible for the third largest number of deaths globally, and it is the silent, slow-motion pandemic that is seeking to become the biggest claimer of human lives by the year 2050. If we don't put ourselves at the front line of fighting these battles, then our people shall be victims and shall pay the ultimate price. I want to thank the Rwanda Food and Drug Agency. 1 month ago in Barbados, we signed a memorandum of understanding with the Rwanda Food and Drug Agency, and your officials have been working with my officials in Barbados to build capacity, and indeed we were able to receive and have launched our own white book, which will be at the core of our own development for our own agency within the Caribbean. The President of Guyana could not be here today, but he too, as we exhibited last year in Sharm el-Sheikh, is also interested in ensuring that we can fill the gap with respect to pharmaceutical equity as we go forward in this very complex world. The notion that our citizens will not have access to drugs that can effectively treat them for cancer or autoimmune diseases is as much a driver for us as is the need for vaccine equity. And I therefore look forward to to our being able to work in a cooperative fashion with all who are here, recognizing that if we don't make these steps at this point in time, we shall forever be takers rather than shapers of our civilization and rather than firm craftsmen of our fate. Dr. Adesina, I missed you in the opening remarks, but I thank you also for your continued support, because it is only in working together that we will create the markets that are sufficiently large to allow the investments to come to our parts of the world to ensure that that equity is there. This today, therefore, President Kagame, is the first concrete step to ensure that when His Excellency Emperor Haile Selassie spoke 60 years ago, he was not simply speaking in dreams of a time that will never come, but that the notion that we can here today launch a concrete platform for the manufacturing of up to 50 million units of vaccines within 2 years is a significant step that says this is no more a fleeting illusion of a few, but that concrete step. I want to commend the people and government of Rwanda. I want to commend the people and government of Senegal, South Africa, and Ghana for also ensuring that you have acted in a cooperative way, because as we heard from the quotation from Chinua Achebe, it is only when we work together that we can overcome all of the problems that confront us. I look forward, therefore, to the Caribbean and Latin America being the next site globally that will play its role in ensuring pharmaceutical and vaccine equity to the people of the world, such that there can be no more first-class and second-class citizens. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Motley. We're now going to hear remarks from His Excellency Musa Faki Mahamat, the Chairperson of the African Union Commission.
Your Excellency Paul Kagame, President of the Republic of Rwanda, Excellency Macky Sall, President of the Republic of Senegal, Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, Excellency Mia Mottley, Prime Minister of Barbados, Honorable Ministers, Your Excellency Ursula von der Leyen, President of the EU Commission, Dr. Hakim Adesina, President of the African Development Bank, Dr. Mweti Sidi, WHO African Regional Director, Dr. Jean Kasseya, Director General of Africa CDC, Professor Dr. Ugur Sahin, co-founder and CEO of BioNTech Group, ladies and gentlemen. Before beginning, President Kagame, allow me to express a personal feeling, and allow me also to do it in French. L'histoire des peuples et des nations est certes faite d'événements, mais également de symboles. En venant ici sur ces sites, la première fois à la pose de la première pierre, et cet après-midi, en descendant ces bas-fonds, je me suis souvenu d'une image que j'ai vue du Rwanda il y a 30 ans. Ces ravins a charrié des vies humaines, des milliers de Rwandais qui ont été assassinés. Imaginez, 3 décennies après, qu'ils poussent au bord de ces ravins des réalisations comme celle-ci est quelque chose d'extraordinaire. Et en plus, ce n'est pas n'importe quelle réalisation. C'est une usine de vaccins pour protéger la vie. C'est tout un symbole. Je dirais à mes sœurs et frères rwandais, soyez fiers de votre parcours. Président Kagame, je crois que votre vision, votre détermination et votre leadership ont montré que tout est possible. L'Afrique qui fait face à d'énormes défis, c'est une évidence, est capable, et c'est l'exemple qu'elle peut franchir des pas de géant. Cela est possible. C'est une leçon à retenir. C'est une fierté pour l'ensemble du continent. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an important day for Africa. This facility that we inaugurating today is a concrete result emanating from strong political will coupled with an efficient partnership. Let me take this opportunity to commend the government of Rwanda for its dedication. President Kagame, your leadership and determination as an early advocate, together with your peers, have made this dream a reality for all of us. I also wish to recognize the presence of President Macky Sall of Senegal and President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana. I also commend BioNTech for working closely with AU member states like Rwanda, Senegal, South Africa, Ghana, and others, and with Africa CDC, the AU specialized agency for public health emergencies. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the continent is committed to increase the accessibility and quality of needed vaccines and other medicines to be available to all Africans. That is also the purpose of African Medicine Agency, AMA, which has its headquarters here in Kigali. In this sense, we believe this BioNTech facility and AMA will contribute to our collective vision of a self-reliant Africa. Creating a high-quality regulatory environment and ensuring vaccine independence is key to our future capacity to prepare, respond, and better recover from pandemics. This collaboration will not only ensure the safety and efficacy of African-made vaccines, but also goes with our vision for multilateral partners to procure and distribute African-made vaccine and medicines in order to address African public health priorities and ensure the markets for such products. And here, I want to thank Gavi for its recent $1 billion African Vaccine Manufacturing Accelerator Fund, which will undoubtedly further boost vaccine manufacturing on the continent. The World Health Organization, represented here by Dr. Moeti, the European Union Commission, represented by Ursula, dear friend, and Germany by Foreign Minister Barbour. You have all been key partners. I want to reiterate the African Union's deep gratitude. Working together to promote vaccine equity for Africa remains a priority. Today's launch is also a testament to our vision enshrined in the Partnership for Africa Vaccine Manufacturing Platform, set up in 2021 to ensure equitable access to quality health care services across the continent. This resonates deeply with the spirit of Agenda 2063, where health isn't a privilege, but a fundamental human right. It echoes the dream of a healthy and unified Africa, trading not just goods, but knowledge, innovation, and the healthcare solutions through the African Continental Free Trade Area. Together, let us continue our journey to ensure vaccine independence for Africa and increased access to safe medicine for all Africans as we build a resilient ecosystem and healthier future for our continent. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your remarks. We're now going to hear from Honorable Annalena Baerbock, Republic of Germany.
Mr. President Dr. Kagame, Professor Şahin, Professorin Türeci, Frau Präsidentin von der Leyen, die Ursula, Präsident Sall, President Motley, die Emir, President Akufo-Addo, Chairman Faki, Minister Fala Matem, dear Professor Rosa Leke, Excellencies, colleagues. Lightspeed. That was the name of Professor Şahin's and Professor Türeci's 10-month project to develop an mRNA-based COVID vaccine. It had never been done before, but it worked. It was a remarkable achievement, as is the place we are in today. Producing vaccines in modular containers, setting up a production site in under 2 years' time. The pandemic brought to light the power of global innovation. But the pandemic also taught us another lesson. The lesson about the harm of inequity. Researchers from South Africa and Botswana, as some of you mentioned, were the first to analyze an important strain of the virus. But despite the research push during the pandemic being so global, the world didn't succeed in rolling out vaccines quickly and fairly to all people around our globe. We cannot undo past failures, but together we can learn and build a better future. And that's why today is such an important day, also for us. As Professor Şahin mentioned, this is more than a production site, especially in these brutal global times. The BioNTech production site we are opening today will be the nucleus of a Rwandan pharmaceutical sector and ecosystem. A sector in the future will supply the African medical market at affordable prices. That will employ scientists from Rwanda and other African countries. And it will make us all safer. As Team Europe, this is exactly the kind of partnership we are seeking under the Global Gateway Initiative. Partnerships that build resilience, not dependence. Partnerships in which we learn from each other and with each other. Through Global Gateway, the EU and its member states, inspired by an African Union project, have committed to invest more than 1.2 billion euros, half of the total coming from my country, Germany, to spur vaccine production in Rwanda, Senegal, Ghana, South Africa, and Nigeria. And we are delivering on that commitment. I'm proud that Germany helped to create a sustainable business environment for BioNTech's investment here in Rwanda. With the best wishes of my Chancellor from Germany, Olaf Scholz, we are also highlighting that through a partnership between the German Vaccine Authority and its Rwandan counterpart, which means that our FDA will be able to soon put African vaccines on the market. And by co-creating a new pharmaceutical martyrs program at Kigali universities, where students started classes just last month to fight the pandemics of the future and study together. Project Lightspeed showed what is possible when we understand the urgency of our task. And today marks a milestone in applying that insight to our global partnerships. At a time when many are talking about deepening divisions in global politics, we are showing here today that it's not only a production side, but that in deepening divisions time, we are showing what African-European cooperation can achieve. We are showing that together we are building a stronger global health system. That together we can achieve to face global crises. Maybe not always at the speed of light, but that's what we are aiming for as politicians, like do you as scientists. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Annalena, for your remarks. I am now delighted to invite to the stage Honorable Dr. Mathume Joseph Fala, Minister of Health, Republic of South Africa.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Program Director, Excellency, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, Excellency President Paul Kagame, Excellencies, President of the Republic of Senegal, Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Excellency, the Prime Minister of Barbados, the Honorable Federal Minister of Foreign Affairs of Germany, His Excellency, the Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Honorable Moussa Faki Ahmad, Honorable the Excellency, the President of the European Commission, Dr. Akwini Adeseni, the President of the African Development Bank, the founders and co-founders of BioNTech, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellencies, I bring you warm regards from my President, the President of the Republic of South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa. We bring heartfelt thanks to the government and the people of Rwanda for hosting this very important milestone. It is a privilege for us and an honor to have been invited to this very august function, which is also to discuss the development of vaccines targeting, amongst others, malaria, tuberculosis, mpox, and other diseases which are troubling our continent. As many of you would know, my President Ramaphosa is very passionate about the matters which we are discussing here today, as he has been at the AU as a champion for COVID-19 pandemic. This is indeed a moment of great admiration and appreciation as we reflect on the remarkable progress that has been achieved since the breaking of ground for the construction of this BioNTech vaccine manufacturing plant here in Kigali. The strides achieved by the government and the people of Rwanda stand as a testament to the dedication and unity and collaborative efforts of scientists, researchers, health professionals, communities, partners, and political leaders. The advancement in Rwanda, such as establishing this mRNA vaccine production facility, the establishment of the Africa Biomanufacturing Institute, and the hosting of the African Medicines Agency, will not only transform healthcare in the Republic of Rwanda, but will have far-reaching positive impact in the continent as a whole, as a key player in the global landscape of medical innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, as already said by previous speakers, the COVID-19 pandemic has been a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of our societies and the urgency of developing robust strategies to address global health emergencies. Today, as I stand before you, in South Africa, we have the South Africa Consortium made up of Afrigem, BioNTech, and the South African Medical Research Council, and working together with the government of South Africa, who are also committed to supporting global efforts on the mRNA technology transfer program. South Africa is also making bold steps towards vaccine manufacturing. In February 2022, WHO launched the mRNA Vaccine Technology Transfer Hub in Cape Town in South Africa. The objectives of the Technology Transfer Hub is to build capacity and contribute to the global effort to increase local vaccine production capacity in the continent, which will put our continent on a path to self-determination. It will further enable vaccine and other drug substance capability, including production of raw material, which is lacking in the continent and is the most cost-intensive and technically challenging step in our aspiration to produce medicines and vaccines. By engaging in the transfer of mRNA technology, we encourage open collaboration in the scientific community, propelling breakthroughs in medical research and innovation. This collaborative ethos can extend beyond the realm of vaccines, benefiting various fields of medicine and public health. In this regard, Afrigem, which is our production company, has entered into collaborative relationship with organizations such as the NIH. The partnership is significant as it provides mRNA Hub with an opportunity to draw on expertise from leading scientists who played pivotal role in the development of the mRNA technology. Furthermore, we have made further advances in that our regulatory authority, the South African Health Product Regulatory Authority, has been awarded by the WHO Maturity Level 3 for vaccine production regulation. And this will take us a step closer in making sure that our regulatory authority can interplay with various other regulatory authorities in various parts of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, what we are celebrating here today is a contribution towards building the Africa we want, an African continent where health equity prevails over disparities. Let us envision a future where Africa is not just a consumer, but a contributor to global health solutions. A future where every nation, regardless of economic standing, has the means to protect the health and well-being of its people. Every individual, regardless of their geographic location or economic status, deserves access to the latest and most effective medical intervention. Enable countries in the African continent to produce vaccines is a pivotal step in closing the gap in vaccine access and ensuring that indeed no one is left behind. As I conclude, I wish to call on all of us to seize this moment, to act in solidarity, to champion science, and to ensure that the benefits of medical progress are shared by all of us. In all in an interconnected world, science knows no boundaries. I want to end by congratulating the government and the people of Rwanda on behalf of the people of South Africa on the launch of this partnership with BioNTech. And we are very confident that it will contribute to achieving self-sufficiency and vaccine production to meet future continental needs for health security, not only for Rwanda, but for the entire continent. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for your remarks. As we head towards the close of this session, we are now delighted to invite to the stage Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, President of the African Development Bank.
Your Excellency, my dear brother President Paul Kagame, President of the Republic of Rwanda, and Her Excellency the First Lady, Mrs. Janet Kagame, Your Excellency President Macky Sall, my dear brother President of the Republic of Senegal, Your Excellency President Nana Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Your Excellency my dear sister Prime Minister Motley of Barbados, and you do such a great job in connecting us to the Caribbean. Thank you for all that you do on that. Your Excellency Ursula von der Leyen, the President of the European Union Commission, Your Excellency, my dear brother Moussa Faki, the Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Honorable Annalena Baerbock, Federal Minister of the Republic of Foreign Affairs of Germany, Honorable Dr. Fala, Minister of Health, Representative President of South Africa, President Ramaphosa, Professor Dr. Hugo Sagin, and the co-founders and CEO of BioNTech, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. I wish to thank you, Your Excellency President Kagame, for inviting all of us to this event today. It is an event that we will never miss. That is because it is the culmination of the power of vision, commitment, and resoluteness to secure the lives of Africans. It is a moment that inspires much hope for us. When COVID-19 hit, Africa suffered the most. A continent of 1.4 billion people was left exposed and vulnerable. Africa was at the bottom of the supply chains. Africa's needs were not prioritized. We all said, never again. Never again will the health of security needs of Africa be outsourced to the benevolence of others. And that is why the African Development Bank launched a $3 billion program to revamp the pharmaceutical industry in Africa. The bank also launched, as His Excellency President Paul Kagame said, the African Pharmaceutical Technology Foundation, which His Excellency President Paul Kagame and the former German Chancellor Angela Merkel are co-chairs of its eminent advisory council. The foundation will support ecosystems and partnerships for pharmaceutical companies such as BioNTech to thrive in Africa. And BioNTech must thrive. I was there in Germany in 2021 during the G20 Compact with Africa in Berlin with Chancellor Angela Merkel, when Professor Dr. Hugo Sagin announced that his company, BioNTech, had a solution for COVID-19, the mRNA technology. All eyes lit up in the room. There was so much enthusiasm. A solution had been found. Now Africa needed it. Several heads of state and government signed up with BioNTech to provide them with access to the mRNA technology. Among them were Rwanda, Senegal, and Ghana. Today, we see the realization of this vision with the inauguration of the BioNTech world-class vaccines manufacturing facility right here today in Kigali. I therefore applaud you, President Kagame, for your foresight. I also applaud BioNTech for prioritizing the needs of Africa with its revolutionary Beyond trainers that will 50 million vaccine doses for phase 1. Thank you very much. BioNTech will also deploy the mRNA technology to tackle some of Africa's diseases, such as malaria and tuberculosis. what a bright day that will be for Africa. And since my dear sister Mia Motley is here from the Caribbean, and because President Kagame knows that I like to sing, I thought I'll close by singing Jimmy Cliff. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in our way. Gone are the dark clouds that hold us down. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Yes, we can see clearly now. It's gonna be a bright and bright, sunshiny day for Africa. Never again will Africa be left behind. Thank you, President Paul Kagame. Thank you, BioNTech. Congratulations. Africa is proud of you, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adeshina, for your remarks. From the remarks this afternoon, it is evident that Africa is building strong and taking bold steps. Your Excellencies, champions of innovation, the moment we have been waiting for is finally here. We are all going to witness history in the making. Behind these walls lies cutting-edge technology that meets the future of healthcare as it takes shape. We will all have a chance to physically go to the next room to get innovation. Official ribbon all the way to 1 so that we can all do this together. Let's all start the count. 3. This is a remarkable moment, not only for Rwanda, but for Africa at large. Excellencies, kindly maintain your position. All the photographers ready to capture this moment.
Ni mu cyanya cyahariwe inganda rero imasoro hazajya icyicaro cy'uruganda rwanye na kanseri mu minsi iri imbere kandi bakabifashisha ikoranabuhanga rikoreshwa neza ni rimeze nk'irya BioNTech mu gihugu cy'u maze kugera hateretse izo kontineri zarangije guteranywa ariko uruganda rutangire gukorwa nyirizina mu byagiye bigarukaho rero uruganda ruri hano ndetse